The great house at Collinwood in the year 1840. A time of crisis for the Collins family. Quentin Collins is on trial for his life, accused of witchcraft. He does not know that Gerard Stiles, now master of the great house, is behind the plot to convict him. Now, as Quentin's trial is underway, Barnabas Collins has volunteered to go forward and testify in his behalf. But on this night, Barnabas himself, now no longer under Angelique's curse and vulnerable to death as any other mortal, will become the target of a vengeful man.
Trask, are you there? If you really need an explanation.
Roxanne.
My father's death must be avenged. Collins.
Roxanne, are you here?
I think it only fitting that you should die the same way he
You must appear to me, Roxanne. I must talk to you.
She's not here, Mr. Collins, and she won't be here.
So it was a trap.
Yes. Carefully conceived and executed. We're all alone, Mr. Collins. I've waited a long time for this moment.
Why did you want me to come here?
Well, I shouldn't think you'd have to ask that question. But if you really need an explanation, I suggest you look carefully at the far wall. My father's death must be avenged, Mr. Collins, and you are the one who must pay. I think it only fitting that you should die the same way he did, sealed up behind a brick wall.
Do you really expect to get away with something like this?
Consider how long my father's tomb went undetected. Now move, Mr. Collins, into that alcove, and if you're thinking of escape, I warn you, I am prepared to use this pistol. You know, for a while I was really convinced that you were a vampire. But now I'm glad that you're human, Mr. Collins. As human as my father was. It makes my revenge so much more complete, so much more fulfilling. Now, put on the manacles, Mr. Collins. The manacles, if you please. Almost finished, Mr. Collins.
You're insane. You'll never get away with a thing like this.
Your pleas will fall on deaf ears, just as my father's did in the cellar of the old house.
My wife and my sister, they will not rest until they find me.
No one is going to find you, Mr. Collins. At least not for a long, long time. My own father's remains were not found for over 40 years. How long do you think he was able to survive without food and water.
Trask, this will not be the last time you'll see my face. You'll see me again.
After this brick is in place, Mr. Collins, no one will ever see you again or hear you. These walls are thick. Your cries will not be heard. You know, it is a sense of triumph to me that I am not only avenging my father's death, but I am preventing you from testifying in behalf of the heretic Quentin Collins. Now, Mr. Collins, goodbye.
Hi. Good morning, Julia.
Don't pretend we're friends, Gerard. We both know you tried to kill Barnabas yesterday. I will be civil to you when people are around, but that is all.
My, what a temper you have. It matches the color of your red hair. Tell me, are you looking for your brother?
Yes, have you seen him?
Wasn't he supposed to be in court today?
Yes.
Well, perhaps he's started for the village earlier.
No. No, he was to wait at the old house, and then we were to leave for the village together. I went to the old house, but he wasn't there. Valerie hadn't seen him since last night.
How strange.
Not very strange. He might very well have gone for a walk early this morning.
Of course. But then why are you so uneasy?
Should I be uneasy?
Not as far as I'm concerned. If I see Barnabas, shall I tell him that you're looking for him?
If you see him, I doubt very much if he'll talk to you. But you could tell him that I've gone to see Quentin in the village.
Good morning, Miss Collins.
Good morning.
I gather she's unable to find her brother.
That is right.
Well, I can appreciate her concern for a missing loved one, can't you?
What do you mean?
But then, of course, he's only been missing for one day. Wait until the days stretch into years. Then she'll know how I felt.
Trask, what are you trying to tell me?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
Then what do you mean the days will turn into years?
Oh, just a feeling I have, that's all.
You know where Barnabas is. Now, what have you done with him?
Gerard, do you really think I'd do anything to harm Barnabas Collins? Didn't you tell me that he was not guilty of vampirism as we suspected? Didn't you see him in the light of day?
Yes, I did.
Well then, you really think I would do anything to harm an innocent man?
What have you done to him, Trask?
Let me put it this way, my friend. Whatever fate has befallen Barnabas Collins, I'm certain was well deserved. But I suspect that we may have seen and heard the last of him.
Well, I certainly am glad somebody finally showed up.
Barnabas hasn't been here?
No. He was supposed to come here and discuss his testimony with Desmond before he took the stand. Desmond finally gave up and left about an hour ago. Julia, what's happened?
I don't know.
Where's Barnabas?
I
mean, I don't understand. Do you think he's changed his mind about his testifying for me?
Oh, you know he'd never do that, Quentin.
Then why isn't he here?
I don't know. I can't tell you. I just don't understand it myself. This is not like him, Quentin. Valerie and I looked everywhere for him this morning. We couldn't find him. I can only decide that he's just disappeared.
Disappeared.
The last thing he would do is desert you at a time like this, Quentin. The only conclusion I can come into is that something has happened to him. Something dreadful.
Yes. They'll go to any length, won't they?
Who?
Whoever's out to get me. They didn't want Barnabas to testify, and now they've just seen to it that he won't.
You really think that's the answer?
Julia, after what's happened, I'm convinced that those people are capable of just about anything.
Can you hear me, Mr. Collins?
Yes,
I thought you might like to know how the trial is progressing. Your failure to appear came as a severe shock to the defense. In fact, it was a most embarrassing moment for Desmond Collins. I believe it may have been a turning point in the trial. So you see, in your own way, you've made a contribution to the case for the prosecution.
Morning, Daphne. And how was your stay at Rose Cottage?
I hardly slept at all. I couldn't stop thinking about that latest note. Tell me what happened last night.
Last night?
Well, yes, you were going to stay in my room and see if Joanna's spirit appeared.
Oh, yes, of course. Well, nothing happened.
Nothing at all?
No, nothing.
Gerard, you're not telling me the truth.
Well, nonsense. Why would I lie to you?
I don't know why you would lie to me, but you are lying. Now, please, if something happened, you must tell me.
Very well. Something happened. I was in your room for about an hour when she appeared, or should I say, it appeared.
Joanna's spirit?
Yes. She moved towards your bed, carrying a knife.
Joanna really wants to kill me.
What else can we think? But she moved towards the bed, and when she found out it was empty, she vanished.
Gerard, do you think I should leave Collinwood?
No. It's the one thing that you mustn't do. Now, there are answers here, and we will find them.
Joanna was so good to me in life. She would never try to hurt anyone. I don't understand this. I don't understand what's happening.
Well, there are answers. We will find them. Perhaps if we communicated with her in some way.
We've already tried that. We held a seance. She did appear, but she only stayed a few seconds, and then she vanished.
Well, if we can't communicate directly, perhaps indirectly we can.
What do you mean?
When Quentin confided in me about the notes, he told me about the great oak tree. And that's where he and Joanna used to meet.
Well, yes, that's right. She even left 2 of the notes at the oak tree.
Well, now, if Quentin would write another note and have someone leave it there for her, a note explaining how he feels about you, well, then I'm sure she would understand.
How would we know?
Well, she would be bound to answer Quentin's notes, and that way we would know everything.
You may be right.
You sound a bit doubtful.
Well, I'm only thinking about Quentin, the chance he would be taking. They've already accused him once of trying to communicate with the dead. If anyone should find the note, they could accuse him again.
It is the only chance we have. Now, I would do it if I were in his position. For you. Daphne, you must go to Quentin and tell him what danger you are in.
How do you feel, Mr. Collins? You're nearing the end of your first full day. Are you getting hungry and thirsty? Well, it will get worse as time goes by. Slow, agonizing death is the worst kind, you know.
How right he is, and how ironic it all is. Angelique lifted the curse in order to help me, and now I am totally helpless. My powers are gone. I have no way of communicating with anyone. It's possible no one will ever find me here.
Tonight I will come back, and this time I shall succeed. Joanna. When'd you get this?
I found it before you last night.
Did anything happen?
Yes.
What?
Well, I stayed at Rose Cottage and Gerard stayed in my room. Joanna's spirit appeared and she was carrying a knife.
And she really intended to kill you?
Yes. Quentin, I shouldn't have worried you with this, I know, but if we don't stop it now, she'll try again. And the next time she may do it. She may kill me.
We've got to get away from Collinwood. I'll talk to Desmond. He'll arrange
No,
everything.
Quentin. Running isn't the answer. No matter where I go, I'll always love you. And that's what Joanna really wants to kill, that love.
All right. What else can we do?
Well, Gerard's had an idea, but I'm afraid it may be too dangerous.
What'd he say?
He thinks you should write a note to Joanna explaining your feelings, appealing to her sense of reason, and then maybe she'd understand.
How do we know it'll work?
How do we know it won't if we don't try? Quentin, we must try. We must.
All right. But how do I get a note to Joanna?
The one place she seems most likely to appear is the oak tree, so I'll take it there.
Yeah, but if anybody catches you, then you'll be implicated in all of this, and that's the last thing I want. Now, I think it's best if we find someone else to take the note.
No, we can't bring anyone else into this. We can't afford to do that. I've got to do it. But it's your decision, Quentin. I'll do whatever you want me to do.
I just don't want anything to happen to you. I want you to be waiting for me when I get out of this place.
You know I'll be waiting.
You get me some pen and paper. Ask the constable for it.
And I see you waste no time.
Well, your note made it clear that the matter was urgent.
So it is. I have heard some very distraught news.
Oh, what is it?
I have a secret from a very unimpeachable source that says that Quentin Collins will communicate tonight with the dead.
You don't say?
Yes.
Did your source say why he intends to make this move?
It seems as though that he has lost all faith in the help in his trial. And so he will enlist help from the spirit world.
How very interesting. How does he plan to communicate with this spirit world?
You sit over there, Trask, and I will tell you. And listen very carefully.
Julia, Quentin told me about Barnabas. Has there been any word?
No, he's completely disappeared. Valerie and I have notified the police. They're searching woods for him now.
I wish there was something I could do.
There's nothing anybody can do except pray for him, wherever he is. Where are you off to?
Oh, well, I've got an errand I have to do.
Whose fate are you two deciding now?
I don't know what you mean.
What have you done with my brother?
What an odd question. What have I done with your brother? I told you this morning.
I know what you told me this morning, but I know Barnabas Collins too well to believe that he could disappear this way. No, he had to be trapped into it. And you two both had reason to stop him from testifying for Quentin.
If you're going to make these formal charges, please, Julie, I do hope that you have prepared proof.
No, I can't prove anything. But you two are in this together. I don't know why you won't admit, Gerard, that you're working hand in hand with him.
On the contrary, Miss Collins, I still have not convinced Mr. Styles that Quentin is the heretic I know him to be. His stubborn loyalty to Quentin Collins continues to mystify me. And as far as your brother is concerned, I submit that the prospect of severe questioning by Charles Dawson was simply too much for him, and he ran away. Good night.
Julia, I know how upset you are, but you mustn't make accusations like that against me. Now, I don't know where Boniface is. I've told you that. You must believe me. Now, why don't you come in and have a drink with me?
I'll take that note, Miss Herridge.